What up? What up? What up? This is Rec League Podcast, man. This is episode number 54. If you don't know by now, my name is Randy Little. I put this thing together every 2 weeks. You know, if I'm fortunate enough, life happens. I've had to miss a couple Sundays. And if you new, welcome. It's Rec League, you know, the Rec League and the YMCA and the Open Run Gym. It's a bunch of dudes who swear they could have had a future doing basketball, NBA, whatever. I'm not professional. My boys that get on and chop it up with me, we not professional. But like the dudes in the Open Run Gym and the Rec League Gym, they can play enough to stay on the court. We know enough about movies to have a conversation. Um, and my boys are Eric Sigmund. Check out his podcast, man. Sigmund Cinema Podcast. And check out my dog Nick Goodman at the Nick Goodman on whatever socials. The socials you'll find this show at are at Rec League Podcast on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram, at Rec League Pod on Twitter. And on this episode, the sequel to Coming to America come out this past weekend, and we discuss EddieMurphy career. Like what I feel like this show is known for is getting off on tangents. There's like one little tangent, but I bring it back around. We bring it back around. We talk about Eddie the whole time, and then I spit some bars for y'all at the end. The bars this week are hard, man. Like it's gonna be tough to get through. And recently, before, like I said, I was gonna try to start putting it in the movie segment, but it never ends up in the movie segment. Recently in theaters, Tom and Jerry came out in theaters or streaming, because Tom and Jerry is in theaters, but it's also on HBO Max. The SpongeBob movie, Sponge on the Run, is on Paramount Plus, and I think it's on other platforms to rent movies. Chaos Walking is in theaters. Boss Level is on Hulu. Coming to America is on Amazon Prime Video, and then Raya and the Last Dragon is on Disney Plus as well as in the theater. And recently on Blu-ray and DVD, Monster Hunter came out, the Paul W.S. Anderson directed video game movie with Mila Jovovich. And over the next couple weeks on Blu-ray or DVD, I think Promising Young Woman might come out like the Tuesday before the next episode. So I want to say like the 14th of March, Promising Young Woman might come on DVD. It might come out the week after. And then this upcoming weekend, Cherry, starring Tom Holland, is available on Apple TV Plus. I'm not sure if that's getting a theatrical. And then the weekend of the next episode, Zack Snyder's Justice League, the Snyder Cut, whatever you recognize it as, is going to be out on HBO Max. The Johnny Depp, Forest Whitaker starring City of Lies, that's about the investigation of Biggie's murder and maybe even Tupac's murder, is supposed to come out that weekend. And then the Nicolas Cage movie, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, is still scheduled for that weekend. Who knows if it's going to come out? I just saw the director on Instagram say that he just finished it like a week and a half ago. But yeah, when I come back, man, we're going to have this Eddie Murphy discussion. It is Rec League Podcast. Movie time. Been looking forward to this for a couple weeks, man. I got the usual guys with me, man. E-Sig, what up? Nick Goodman, what up? Showing up 10 minutes late with your tardy ass. My plan was to just go into the discussion. Is there any news that you guys need to talk about?
Not necessarily.
I feel like we just talked about it, like Paramount Plus.
Like on wax, fool.
Yeah.
Like that's I feel like we like brushed past it in just normal conversation. It's not really worth.
Okay, cool. Without any explanation, I want to go around. I want to get everybody's top 3 Eddie Murphys. Sig, what you got?
Top 3. Well, funny enough, and it has nothing to do with a certain movie that just came out, but I'm gonna count. Number 1 is for me. I would say Coming to America.
Whoa. Wait, that's number 1 or number 3?
No, it's that's the. Well, I'm not counting down. Counting from best. I wouldn't say least, but
He got like 40 movies. Top 3, they're all good.
I don't know. Honestly, I'll probably change by the end of this podcast, but it's definitely so for this saying.
And you got to specify T.O. or number 2.
What's that?
T.O. Coming to America, T.O. or Coming to America number 2?
The original. Right, Coming to. Coming to America, 88. And this one's going to be controversial.
No, it's not.
Because I watched this recently. And I think it is overall the better movie of the series. And it's no coincidence because of the director combined with Eddie Murphy. I think this was right on his prime. Beverly Hills Cop Part 2.
Whoa, controversial. Over 1? Well, we don't know.
Over 1.
Cue the Twitter rage.
Now, I'm saying this because as an overall movie, and from top to bottom, it's just have y'all watched all 3 of those movies recently?
Like 2 years ago.
Last year.
Now, look how
I've seen those like many times.
Even literally the scope of Part 2 compared to 1 and 3, it just has a like more fantastical looking. You know, it's Tony Scott. It looks like a Michael Bay movie in the 80s.
Yeah.
You know, just the look of it. And I think you get a more confident Eddie Murphy, and his timing is just like boom. But anyway,
I like Part 2. Part 2's ranked pretty high on my list. Well, it's kind of in the middle, but still.
No, number 3 on this spontaneous list is The Nutty Professor.
Yeah. That's also pretty high on my list.
Yeah.
I think it's highest ranked newer movie.
Right.
Well,
but yeah, that's my impromptu list. And I think
Nick, what you got?
I'll probably bring this up later. Or now. Now, Coming to America. Yeah. Now, it has a certain strength, the first movie.
Okay, I'm about to say, I want to get our top 3s and then talk about the sequel. And then...
Yeah. Cool. So, like I was saying, go ahead, but that's it. I'm curious about Nick's list.
Yeah, Nick, what you got?
All right, I'm going to go from 3 to 1. That's normal.
That's normal.
3, I would have Beverly Hills Cop 1 because it's better than 2. I like 3. Like, everybody hates Beverly Hills Cop 3. I think 3 is fine. Like, it's like a solid 3 out of 5 to me. Like, there's nothing really shitty about 3. They, like, made it work. Like, it was just like, let's do a 3. And, like, that's what we got. Like, it was like,
Yeah, they got it. That's just, let's do a 3. It was just that energy, but now let me...
Yeah, like, that was, like, it was like, let's do a 3, fuck it. And it was like, okay. Like, I like the amusement part. Like, part 1 is just, like, a lot of this is, like, I was watching Eddie Murphy movies, like, way too young.
Yeah, we all were.
That's, like, growing up in the 90s, like, my parents, they loved Eddie Murphy. They actually saw Eddie Murphy on the Raw tour.
Oh, that's sweet.
They used to talk about that all the time. And then when I finally saw it, I was like, like, you guys sat through this and watched this? But, so I was watching, like, Beverly Hills Cop and all that, like, way too young, and just laughing my ass off. Like, just, like sitting on the floor, like, eating animal crackers. Like, just... like, I shouldn't even be watching this, but like the soundtrack is great, and just his energy, like in that role, like that could have been the run of the mill, just any like coming. Beverly Hills Cop could have been like a Jean-Claude Van Damme in the '90s. Like it would just be like he's the Beverly Hills Cop, and it would have just been like wisecracking Van Damme movie. But like Eddie Murphy made it what it is, and it's funny as shit, and it's like the fish out of water. Anyway, I love Beverly Hills Cop. Number 2, that's Shrek. In terms of quality, Shrek is number 2 because it's had this like second wind of like ironic popularity over the last like 10 years. It's like I feel like we forget that it's like one of the best animated movies ever. Like it's one of the funniest movies.
No, yeah.
Last, like,
without Eddie Murphy as Donkey, it doesn't hit the same.
But yeah, without that, it's just Shrek. Like it's just like, oh, that was good. It's without that, it's Shark Tale. Like it's like, oh, that was good.
Yeah.
But yeah, Eddie Murphy. I don't want to say he makes or breaks the movie, but he kind of makes or breaks Shrek. And then number 1. I feel like it's not that many other people's number 1, but it's like always been my number 1, is Trading Places.
Yeah.
I feel like that's always in people's like top, like when they talk about like the best Eddie Murphy, but I don't think it's anybody else's number 1. It's always been my number 1, like since I was little, watching it when I shouldn't have been watching it. Like, I watch it every Christmas. So maybe that's why, like maybe it's just because I've seen it more than everything else, just because I watch it like every year.
That's the one where Jamie Lee didn't show her tits until she went legit.
Yeah. Let's see how knocked up. It's both chesticles. Yeah, and like I was watching that as a child, like whatever. I was like, it's rated R, who cares? But it's like, I think Trading Places. It's like I love 48 Hours. I think 48 Hours is like phenomenal. I think Beverly Hills Cop is great. But those are like action movies. They're like action comedies. Like 48 Hours, again, it's like, you know, kind of the same thing. Like that would have been like a by the book cop movie, but you put Eddie Murphy in it, and it changes the whole dynamic of the movie. Like it's more of a cop movie than a comedy. Like Trading Places is like all funny. Like that movie is all comedy from like start to finish, and like everything is funny that they do in Trading Places. Like everything about it is funny.
Yeah.
So that's my number 1. And anytime I'm watching a movie recently and there's a Trading Places joke that I didn't expect with Colin Jost, I'm gonna laugh because I did that. Like I laughed. I was like, no. So that's my number 1. I feel like it's no one else's number 1.
Yeah, it's not mine.
Except maybe Red.
At number 3, I got Life.
Yes.
Like Life.
At number 3, I got Life, man. Just that whole story, like it's a fucked up situation, but it's funny as hell. I'm the pappy, and the way it ends, and it's him and Martin just playing off each other, man. It's so great.
Yeah.
I watched like when it came out and it was rated R, and I was like 10, and I was like, why am I watching this?
Where it's like they both were killing it in '99. Eddie had Life and Bowfinger. Martin had Life and Blue Streak.
Blue Streak, yeah. Man, that's right.
It's like Life is like it's like considered like classic now, especially like with Eddie Murphy fans. Like people love Life. Life wasn't like a box office hit in its day.
It wasn't a flop necessarily, but it didn't.
But it wasn't like Dr. Dolittle, Nutty Professor.
Nah,
like,
it wasn't not a hard comedy.
Yeah, which is weird to think about because I always think of Life as like higher, like top tier, like higher Eddie Murphy.
At 2, I got Coming T.O. America, the OG, the 1988. That boy good. I mean, like, what else is there to say, man? Like we're not getting a sequel today if this one just isn't the classic that it is. This was the movie that Eddie Murphy like made popular, playing like 30 characters in one movie.
For better or worse.
Yeah.
The Fatties, Part 2.
Oh man.
Speaking of fatties, my number 1 My number one is The Nutty Professor. I get a kick out of this shit every single time I watch it.
Yeah, it's funny as shit.
Just
I
yeah.
love that. When it came out, I was like a child, but it was like kind of children's humor. It was PG-13. So
Yeah.
it was like, I thought it was like the best movie of all time. When it
Yeah,
came out.
Tom Shadyac stepped away from Jim Carrey and got up with Eddie Murphy and just made a classic. Buddy Love, man. Spandex.
Yeah.
All spandex.
Yep. Man, you can't go wrong with any of those lists that y'all.
Oh, I know.
That's an interesting thing. I'm glad you said, we said, Nutty Professor.
Spider-Man, man.
Eddie...
It's high. It's high in my ranking. I did a whole ranking on my
Nick,
list.
why do you hate the clumps?
I don't.
Nick, how many movies are on your
Nutty
list?
Professor 2, like, I remember when Nutty Professor 2 came out, thinking that was like the funniest shit in the entire world. And then watching it recently, I rewatched a lot of Eddie Murphy stuff last year for this very reason. I was like, we're either going to talk about it, I'm going to do a ranking, or there's going to be a big deal. So I rewatched a lot of stuff, and like, part 2 is not as good as part 1.
Right.
At all.
No.
But like, there's a lot of funny stuff in it.
Yeah.
And like,
part 2 is weird. It's like still a good movie, but not necessarily an extremely funny movie.
Yeah, like plot wise, like it's like what made part 1 so funny was like the clumps weren't in it the whole time.
Yeah.
They were only in like 1 or 2 scenes.
Right.
And then like in other scenes he was playing Richard Simmons, and like it was just funny in that way. It was like if they made Coming to America and the barbers were in it the whole movie, it wouldn't have been as good. Like it would have been like, oh, it's the barbers coming to the barbershop. Like it's not as funny.
Look at me.
So
of course I've seen the Barbershop series.
As a kid, I thought it was great.
Yeah.
Nick, how many movies are on your list?
Was it?
How many movies are on your list, Nick?
39.
Okay. I got 35.
I didn't include Raw. Even though that was like in theaters.
Which one?
Include it. Not really a movie.
Oh yeah, I didn't include the stand-ups.
Yeah, like maybe like there might have been like 1 or 2 other things he did in the 80s that were like small that I didn't put in there.
Best Defense.
Yeah, like I didn't put that in. Sorry.
No,
but,
man.
The animated, like he's got 2 animated like bona fide classics.
Yeah.
That disrupt the top 5 in my ranking. Otherwise, it would be like all his 80s like. Gems.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I didn't know if we wanted to include animation, but it's whatever.
That's why Shrek is
yeah. I have 2 Shrek movies in my top 5.
Yeah, I've got Mulan at number 4. Because Mulan, like it's great. It's unbelievably good movie.
Yeah, it's another one that he elevates the humor.
Yeah, he's one of the best parts of that movie. So I'm like, that to me is a better movie than some of these. Like as an Eddie Murphy vehicle, I would have Coming to America like 3 or 4. And then I got Nutty Professor like right after that, and then what I think is his most underrated movie, Bowfing.
Yeah, 99 again. Yeah, like Randy's
not a huge hit.
Nope.
Like did all right, but like not really.
Directed by Yoda.
I'm watching that thinking this is so funny. I wish I was him crossing the street.
Just so many underrated elements of that movie.
Yes. It's so stupid, but like it's so funny.
And I'm glad you brought that up. That was something I was gonna touch on with Eddie Murphy, and he actually brought something up when he was doing his rounds for the sequel Coming to America, and he was saying when he did Dreamgirls, he was saying everybody was praising his one scene in particular with his performance in Dreamgirls when he was about to do the drugs, and the dude was like, "Come on, man, it's Christmas," and he gave him the look, like get the hell out of here. He gave him that. And Eddie Murphy said everybody was praising that. He's like, yeah. I'm like, I wonder. He's like, yeah, that was easy. He's like, did you see me play 5 different people in Nutty Professor? And I'm speaking of that because comedic performances Same thing with Jim Carrey in a lot of roles. They don't get respected the same way because when you watch a Nutty Professor at that table in the first one, you're not saying look at Eddie Murphy in these roles. You're saying look at the uncle, look at the father, look at the mother.
Yeah.
And it's really well done combination of Eddie Murphy's performances. Performances and the only other person I think to be nominated for an Oscar doing multiple roles was in Doctor Strangelove. I'm blanking on the actor's name.
Peter Sellers.
Peter Sellers, thanks, Nick. And he got nominated for Best Actor, playing 3 different people. And I think Eddie, for Nutty Professor, I'm not even BSing, should have got nominated for an Oscar for that. That's not easy to do.
Yeah.
And the Golden Globes tend to do that more. That's one thing that they do more than
they got the categories and the different
categories. So Jim Carrey and he'll like thrive when he
wins for both of those movies, but don't get nominated at all for an Oscar.
Yep.
Yeah. And
I agree. I'm of the same opinion.
Yeah, and like you said, Bowfinger, he should have got a supporting nod for that.
Yeah.
Bowfinger's so funny.
Like real talk. And Steve Martin for a screenplay.
Yes, like it's so silly, but like it's so funny. And like Steve Martin, it's like sometimes it's like you put, and Eddie Murphy did it a lot, like in the late 90s, early 2000s, where it was like two funny people together, and it was just like cool. It was like Eddie Murphy was like perfect for that part, and Steve Martin was perfect for the director role, like the way he played that part, like it's flawless, like. It's so funny. Whereas, like, you have, like, anger management. It's like Adam Sandler and Jack Nicholson.
Yeah.
Like, this might be funny. Eddie Murphy and Robert De Niro. Like, this might be... They're cops. Like, it might be funny. But that was, like... It was like, you're reading that script, and it's like, there's no way Steve Martin isn't playing the director. Like, that's so on his, like, brand of humor. And Eddie Murphy playing the two roles... There's like two completely opposite dudes. Like it makes me laugh just thinking about it. That's how you know it's good. Him crossing the street, like that used to kill me.
Yeah.
It's just
that used to like kill me.
Like you said, that scene, something. So if you read that on the script, when you didn't know who was playing those roles, you'd be like we probably should cut this thing. And
no.
And how they make something so simple as crossing the street, being scared crossing the street, so iconically funny. Everybody knows that scene. It's people that don't know the movie and they know that scene.
Mm-hmm.
Chubby Ring.
Let me ask y'all this. I wanted to bring this up. I mentioned a movie called Best Defense.
Yeah.
Which was horrible. I don't know if y'all... I remember being young and watching that just because Eddie Murphy was in it.
I don't remember. Was it...
With Dudley Moore.
Dudley Moore. I was about to say, is that the movie with Dudley Moore?
And it was horrible. Eddie Murphy said it was horrible, but he said it made him $1 million.
There you go.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
It's another movie that's extremely underrated.
I Spy.
There's a scene in this movie that actually showcases his like some of his serious dramatic acting chops. And but this movie wasn't a hit. I remember seeing it in theaters. Now, this movie is funny. It kind of flips the genre you used to seeing Eddie Murphy in. It's not a comedy. It's a legitimate action thriller with comedy elements. But seeing Eddie Murphy in it, you're going to automatically think it was a comedy, and it's not really. And the movie is Metro.
Metro. I like Metro.
Oh, yeah.
Even the poster for Metro, like, makes it look silly. He's like...
Yeah, it's like, hey.
Yeah.
Whoa. And, like, that's not the... Yeah, that's not a lot of the movie.
And it's a really good movie, and
it's not bad. Yeah, it's I've got it like kind of middle.
Yeah, Metro's good.
There's a scene in the movie. When's the last time any of y'all seen it? If you've seen
last
it,
year.
Yeah, like that spring 2019 binge I did of everything.
You gotta rewatch. It's a scene in the movie. I don't know if whichever one of y'all remember it. Where he visits the main villain in jail and tells him that he did something, and he's like, and he like went off in that scene. I'm like, man, I never seen Eddie Murphy like. It wasn't no tongue in cheek, no. He was just.
Yeah, it's just like yelling at him. Like that's just it's a cop movie. It's
right.
like 14 hours would have been that. if they had just cast someone else. Like
Right there, you got a good example.
And that, like maybe a couple funny lines. Because yeah, Metro is more of a cop movie. It's more of like a cop thriller than a comedy. Like it's like here and there. But it's more on the level of like Lethal Weapon or Die Hard or something like that. Like so yeah, it's kind of funny, but not really. I remember
and purposely
at the they were like doing a training thing. It was, like,
that was they had to throw that in there. Hey, we got EddieMurphy.
Yeah. I like Metro, and I also think underrated. Not underrated. That might be a stretch. But a movie like no one talks about that is kind of funny is.
I think I know what you're about to say.
Well, I don't know. The Distinguished Gentleman. No one talks about the movie, and it's not great. Like, not to say like it's great, but it was still Eddie Murphy like trying.
Yeah, trying something different. Yeah.
You know, it was like he kind of coasted for a couple years. We know and made.
And remember what happened in that movie? Like,
I do.
It got real serious.
Yeah.
Like with the power lines and the cancer and.
Yeah, the little girl with the cancer and all this stuff.
And I'm like you, like a lot of us watching these movies real young. I'm like, what the hell is going on?
Like, oh, this is good. That might be a part of the reason why I like Beverly Hills Cop 3, because I know I saw it young. I remember doing the Okie Shuffle. I remember like,
I saw that at a drive-in.
I didn't. I was but a wee bit.
I wanted to share it's a story about Beverly Hills Cop 3 that kind of makes sense. So John Landis, he did two of what we agree his best movies in Trading Places and Coming to America, the first one.
Oh yeah.
And they did Beverly Hills Cop 3. Mm-hmm. So John Landis says from Trading Places to Coming to America that Eddie Murphy changed a lot. That he was real egotistical and Coming to America and blah blah blah. And they fell out, but they got back together in Beverly Hills Cop 3. But the story I wanted to bring up is Bronson Pinchot, who plays Surge.
Yeah.
And they're at the gun gallery. Yeah. And if you watch the scene, there's not a lot of what you call master shots with both of them in one shot. There's a lot of cross back and forth. And Bronson Pinchot said he's seen Eddie Murphy around a lot after Beverly Hills Cop, but he said when they were filming Beverly Hills Cop 3, he said Eddie Murphy was tired, like almost a depressed type of tired, so much so that when they're shooting that scene at the gun gallery, Bronson Pinchot is not shooting with Eddie Murphy. He's shooting with John Landis because they're not in a master shot. He said John Landis told Eddie Murphy to just go his hotel room and rest because he just seemed so out of it.
Damn.
And he said it was like that. Every time he shot with him, it was like that. Even the scene when he comes back and get the big gun, they were in a lot of more master shots. And he said he was just wasn't. He said that wasn't the Eddie Murphy he knew.
I remember reading that.
Yeah.
Like years ago, for pretty much forever. Like it was always like John Landis said that they loved working together on Trading Places, and then when they did Coming to America, it was like he called him like the pig of the earth or something like that. Eddie Murphy was just the pig of the earth. I remember thinking, maybe it just like got to his head, like he was so famous there. Like I never thought anything of it. Then I don't know if it was recent. I don't know. But I read like an interview with Eddie Murphy where he
mentioned the Twilight Zone thing.
Like he like said everything like this and this and this and this and this and this.
Yeah.
I tend to agree with Eddie Murphy. Well, like agree. I wasn't there. But when I read his recounting of the situation, I'm like, oh, that's what. But whatever.
Yeah, and everybody was on John Landis' ass about look it up. It's a situation that happened on the Twilight Zone movie.
Yeah, I was about to say John Landis stuff.
Yeah, everybody is
director.
Huh.
Yeah, but no, that's interesting with me, and it's because Beverly Hills Cop 3, like Nick, you mentioned, it's not the most horrible movie.
It's really not. Like people talk about it like it's like the lowest of the low. Like,
is it bad to me? In my opinion, yes, it's a bad movie.
Good film. Like it's not film. It's not cinema, but like it's fine. Like I don't know.
The only thing fine about that movie is Teresa Randall.
There we go.
I just that's true.
Yeah. I never thought in my life I would say I miss Paul Reiser in a movie.
No shit.
Yeah.
Or John Ashton.
Yeah, like they write it off pretty easily. He's just like, where is he? I would love to say hello to him.
Playing golf.
He's in whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
It's just something. They didn't have that. Like Beverly Hills Cop 1 and 2 had a certain spark about them.
Yeah.
It just seemed like, plain part 3.
Yeah.
What happened between like Harlem Nights and Beverly Hills Cop 3 that would have made him? Did he have like?
Well, he was working a lot, and a lot of the movies just weren't hitting.
Were they
like
not?
you said, they weren't major hits.
Yeah.
That
Harlem Nights wasn't like a massive hit either.
Right, because they were just barely like breaking even.
Yeah. I'm sure him directing Harlem Nights and then it not blowing up like bummed him out.
Because it's the only movie to this day that he's directed, and he did between that Boomerang, The Distinguished Gentleman, and probably a couple of
another 48 Hours.
Yeah, that's a great movie. I think that's one of his best movies.
Which one?
Everybody likes Boomerang.
Yeah, but it just didn't hit. It wasn't major. And you got to realize, look at these numbers he was doing in the 80s, and then he's doing these passion projects which aren't huge.
Yeah,
and that was just the thing.
Was Beverly Hills Cop the #1 movie that year?
I think so.
It was the #1 R-rated movie for like 20 years before Deadpool.
Yeah.
84.
I think Coming to America was the #2 movie of 1988.
Yeah. And Beverly Hills Cop 2 did well in that year it came out. So that's like Top Gun year, if I'm not mistaken. And there was a lot of...
Top Gun was 86.
Yeah, 86. Yeah, 87 was Beverly Hills Cop 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Predator.
So
and,
86 was Golden Child.
Yeah. Golden Child.
And that's another unique.
Might be his most overrated movie.
I think it's overrated. I don't think a lot of people know about that movie. I think.
I feel like Eddie Murphy fans. Like you talk about people that just love Eddie Murphy. It was like, oh, the Golden Child. Like when I did that thing, which I suppose I should shout out people at some point. I said I couldn't. When I did the thing on Instagram, I was like, "What's your favorite Eddie Murphy movie?" I think like 1 or 2 people said the Golden Child. Yeah, it's like, really?
Interesting.
Really? Like, okay. I like it. Like, it's entertaining.
Yeah.
Like, to me, it's not one of his best. But I said on my post, it proved that he could branch out past just being the funny guy in the situation. Like, he could, carry a kind of fantasy-esque, like, action movie if he needed to.
Probably didn't help that Big Trouble in Little China came out that year too.
Yeah, I think they canceled each other out because none of them, either one, were not big hits. And that theme, I think they were just ahead of their times with it.
Yeah.
The Golden Child should have been called Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah, you could have.
They could have just switched the titles.
And literally, like 3 or 4 of the same actors in both movies, like James Hong and a couple other smaller actors. But
I can even see the poster. It's Eddie Murphy like Big Trouble in China. That might have been kind of racist. Well, Big Trouble in Little China. It's racist as is. So we're fine. I think that might be his most overrated movie.
Yeah, probably.
Maybe. I don't know. Like, it's kind of weird. Like, we've been talking like how the legacy of his movies have kind of changed. It's like there's people that consider Harlem Nights like 5 out of 5. Like they just think it's. Like, I watched that Kevin Hart documentary series where he was talking like Chadwick Boseman and Idris Elba about making a movie. They're talking about this is gonna be the new Harlem Nights. This is gonna be like Harlem Nights for the new. And it was like, oh, for what it is, I guess. But it's like that and like Life. Like when Life came out, like I said, like it was around, like it was like, oh, a movie. And now it's like considered a classic. Like, oh my God, Life, 5 out of 5.
It's kind of like the taken for granted mentality. He's just doing so much. You're like, oh, of course it's funny.
Yeah.
And
it's like,
then you realize the genius of it sometime later. And Nick, thank you for bringing up a particular person.
Yeah.
Because we want to talk about this, I guess. Why not?
Let's tear someone down.
Look at Randy.
Let's tear someone down on the pod.
He gotta shut it right down. But as we know, Twitter is a very interesting place.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I did dead that whole debate.
Full of idiotic opinions. Twitter is. And even then, Nick, you got your list out, and Randy got your list out. Because I would say this, I'll start. So there's somebody tweeted something, and it got a lot of traction. Talk about you think talk about EddieMurphy's filmography is better than Kevin Hart. Don't make me laugh. That's the tweet. And I put it like this. I like Randy said in his response. Let me dead that right now. I'll do one better. Let me name a random one of his money grab 2000s movie. I Spy. I Spy is better than probably 5 random Kevin Hart movies you name me.
Better than The Wedding Ringer.
Yes.
Yeah, and this
Kelly Robinson, baby, 57-0.
And that's
I see me. I see you looking at me. I see me looking at you looking at me.
That's a perfect example of what I was talking about the other day. They were like, Eddie Murphy and Owen Wilson. He's so high right now.
Yeah, like you said, these random combo movies he was doing with people. It was like, I want to work with him. Let me do it before it's too late. Yeah. And even Showtime. De Niro, the one with Robert De Niro, right?
I think Showtime's kind of funny.
No, it is. It got some good moments in it.
But like, it's kind of funny. My dad loved Showtime. He thought that was like the best movie in the history. He was like, that was Eddie's best movie in fucking like years. And I just remember being like, yeah, I guess.
But like, I wrote this, man, I think, when did this Think Like a Man 2 come out? Like 2013?
14.
What year was that? 14. I wrote a review, one of my first reviews on Instagram. This is 2014. And I was saying back then about Kevin Hart needing to switch it up a bit. Even then, a lot of people, including like, he's just doing the same shtick.
Yeah.
And at that point, if you were to parallel both of their careers, and like we mentioned, at least Murphy was while he was still doing comedy, he was trying different types of comedy. And I just don't. And people, like Randy said in his tweet, at least do the history. You can have your opinion.
Yeah.
But do the history. You be a fan of Kevin Hart all you want. That's different. But don't put out that hard when you haven't experienced his filmography.
Filmography? See, I've always like, there's always a debate in terms of like stand-up.
Yeah.
And it's like, say what you will about Kevin Hart. I consider myself, I'm a Kevin Hart fan.
Yeah, he's
like, as a stand-up comedian, Kevin Hart has etched out like his own legacy that you can compare to other people in terms of like how popular he is. He's got at least one stand-up special that I consider it's like a classic stand-up.
Yeah, you give him one.
Seriously Funny was like one of the only times really in recent memory where like Kevin Hart had been around a while and he'd been working, and he did Seriously Funny, and like that pushed him to like do Think Like a Man and like be all this stuff. Next thing you knew, he was like the A-lister that he was, because it was like the word of mouth on that was so good. So I'll give him like that one.
Yeah, of course.
He's done more sense. But like filmography, it's not even a discussion.
No.
Like, it's not even like, I did a thing when I was talking the other day. I said, give me any comedic actor who had like a run. Like Jim Carrey, like in the 90s, had a run.
Yeah.
Adam Sandler, 90s, early 2000s, he had a run of movies. Kevin Hart, kind of still in his. Like, he had a run. It's like nobody touched Eddie's run in the 80s.
I think Kevin Hart's been on since like that first Think Like a Man and just been coasting.
Yeah.
But he had a lot of shit before that he was like I said in my tweet, like 7th, 8th build.
Paper Soldiers.
Yeah. Scary Movie 3 and 4. Soul Plane. His first lead bombed, bro. I was working at the Discount Theater in Indy, summer 2004. Soul Plane premiered the end of May, like Memorial Day weekend, whatever. By 4th of July weekend, that shit was in a Discount Theater. Nobody was watching Soul Plane.
Nope.
And
I mean,
also, like you said,
I like both.
Nick,
I thought it
comparing the
was fun.
filmographies, you got to compare, like Randy said, going back to his, it's just all there. So Eddie Murphy, in 48 Hours, he was the co-lead.
Very
And
first
after that,
movie.
just lead. A lot of these movies, Kevin Hart, how many lead roles does he have?
Yeah, 'cause he wasn't the lead in either Think Like a Man.
No, he used the
And
probably
he was in, like,
build.
And yeah,
5-year engagements, and he was just kind of in it. Like, he was just there.
yeah.
Oh, how about, let me put it like this. How many above the title movies does he have? Name above the titles.
Jumanji.
Kevin Hart, then everybody else.
Oh, I still don't think he has one.
Because think about it, Jumanji, who's the star of that movie?
Yeah.
Who's the star of Ride Along?
Yeah.
Ride Along.
You know, he's the co-lead, yeah, but he still got second filling.
Hit hard. Whoa! Did we just like crack open a whole thing?
You see what I'm saying?
The Wedding Ringer. I brought that up as like a joke. He's kind of the main guy.
Yeah, but he's
like there's other people, but he's kind of like he's the guy.
Mm-hmm.
But like Central Intelligence, like that's him in The Rock. Get Hard, that's him and Will Ferrell.
That's Kevin Hart's thing though. Like he can be like second build, seventh build, and he'll steal that shit though.
It's true.
Cause like About Last Night, like he steals About Last Night. That shit's funny.
No pun intended. I think that's just the thing. His strength and his weakness. No pun intended. He's good in small doses.
But I was saying, I was like, Eddie Murphy came out with 48 Hours, Trading Places, Beverly Hills Cop, Boo Boo Boo. I was like, who else like came out with like their first 3 movies?
All hits. You can't even say Jim Carrey.
And someone else said Jim Carrey, like the dude.
Ace Ventura wasn't his first movie.
No, Jim Carrey go back to the 80s. Peggy Sue Got Married.
Yeah.
Once Bitten. He did a TV show that bombed.
But then he was like, Jim Carrey did Ace Ventura, The Mask, Dumb and Dumber, same year. And I'm like, okay, let's say those were his first movies. Like, let's say, okay, Jim Carrey as an actual movie star. Let's say those are his first movies.
Yeah.
Quality-wise, that doesn't touch 48 Hours, Trading Places, Beverly Hills Cop. I'm sorry. It doesn't. They're great.
Those are some of his. You can make an argument.
I was like, we can have the discussion, but to me, no. Like Ace Ventura, we love it,
but that would be.
Love it. That's not.
Yeah.
Film.
I would say.
At least, Nick, that would be a suitable argument.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we could have the discussion.
Take the 3 Kevin Hart movies and put it.
I would say if that was Jim Carrey's first 3 movies in that same year, that's a discussion.
Yeah.
That's what I said. Like, give me that. Like Kevin Hart, no offense to Kevin Hart, because obviously, like, he's not going to hear this podcast and like give up. He's doing fine.
Yeah.
But at filmography, it's not even.
No.
It's like
it's apples and oranges one.
Yeah.
It's like apples and like
avocados.
Screwdrivers. Yeah, like it's like 2 completely different things that you wouldn't eat. It's like it's not even. We can talk about stand-up because everybody's got a different favorite stand-up comedian.
Right.
It's like you can talk about Dave Chappelle, you can talk about Kevin Hart, but even doing that, it's like Eddie Murphy as the stand-up comedian. It's whether he's the best or the whatever. It's like he did it completely different. He was like the first like rock star stand-up comedian.
Right.
Like Richard Pryor, George Carlin, these guys came out and like they were beloved comedians, but they weren't like, I don't know, like it was just a whole different thing. And like pretty much everybody else in the 80s who had a run like doing stand-up, like Andrew Dice Clay, like he kind of had the same, like a similar kind of thing. But that was all shtick. That was all like.
There you go. It's you can watch Raw and it still be relevant today. You watch Andrew Dice Clay, like how was this a thing?
Yeah, Andrew Dice Clay had to come up with like a whole thing, like he doesn't act like that. It was like Sam Kinison was like super popular in the 80s, but it was all like shtick. It was all just him like screaming. It was like, oh, let me do the thing that they love. Like Eddie Murphy came out and like was doing.
That's a good point.
Eddie Murphy.
What's his name? The nervous dude. from the Police Academy movies. Bobcat and Goldthwait. He was.
Oh,
That
okay.
was shtick. You look at him now. You talk to him now. He's a completely normal guy.
Yeah.
And it's like Eddie Murphy was just doing Eddie Murphy.
Yeah,
like,
that's a great point. There's a lot of shtick in the 80s.
Yeah, like he knew
Gimmick.
his strengths were impressions.
Let me ask y'all this: have y'all ever heard? Speaking of shtick, y'all ever heard Gilbert Gottfried talk in his normal voice?
Yes.
No.
And I don't believe that it's him because I've never seen him.
I've only ever heard Iago.
Yeah,
I've only ever heard it. I've never seen it. I want to see him.
Yeah,
talk.
me too. I gotta see that because I don't believe that. I don't believe that shit either.
Wasn't it Howard Stern or something?
Yeah, it was
like
Howard Stern. He left a voice message.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's
But again, shtick. Like that's they came up. Andrew Dice Clay that's aged like milk. It's aged horribly. But like his act was huge, and he was playing like arenas. Like it was huge.
But
he
you know
was coming up
something?
with doing a character. Like
I'll give you. Kevin Hart has one great stand-up. But when does routine become shtick? That's my question because Kevin. Okay, Bert, look at. Okay, right here.
First of all,
I'll tell you what you're not gonna do. Okay, right here. Okay, so you're doing this. To a degree, after your first 3 or 4 stand-ups, it starts to get because now
I think Kevin Hart is funny. Like there's people that will like be like Kevin Hart isn't even funny.
That's not true. That's just stupid.
The man is funny. And I look forward when he has new stand-ups. Like I look forward to watching. Like even the one he did recently, I was like, it was funny.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. It's not it's a dip in quality.
Yeah, it was just different. Yeah, it wasn't him in like a fucking like an arena.
Yeah.
But has that even happened before Eddie Murphy? Like we're stand-up
selling out stadiums and stuff.
Playing stadiums?
But you guess who did it? Guess who the first person that did it?
Richard Pryor?
Andrew Dice Clay.
Was that pre-Eddie Murphy? So I can't remember.
See, the thing is, Eddie Murphy never actually did like a stadium. He did it's like traditional like Apollo type theaters and stuff like that. Nobody, because he only did 2. Nobody ever thought to do it. And Andrew Dice, they had that idea, and he did it. He sold out.
He did Madison Square Garden, didn't he?
Yeah.
I don't know if he sold out, but it's like now that's not that abnormal. Like Dane Cook played Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, remember that when he was a thing.
Yeah. Again, when he was around, I thought he was funny.
Dane Cook.
Like everybody did. That was
I don't care what you say. We look back on it like, God, remember that? That dude was funny. I don't care. But again, a lot of it was shtick. A lot of it was kind of similar to the Kevin Hart thing you were doing. Like he would talk real fast, and then he would like trail off and do something else. Then he would tell a story, and then like trail off. And everybody got to the point where everybody just loved it so much. And he had a HBO series. It was called Tourgasm.
Yeah.
Which was cool in like 2005. But I remember watching that, like, and he's real normal. Like it was like, it was a bunch of comics on the bus, and all these comics like clashed.
I remember that.
He was the only one who was like real chill. Like he was like real laid back. And then he would get on stage like with his fucking like ripped jeans or whatever. And it was like a whole thing. So a lot of it even still was like.
And he's one of the first comedians to not successfully, just one of the first period to utilize social media. Because remember, he's the MySpace comedian.
That was MySpace in its prime. Yeah. That's why when Eddie Murphy had social media.
Yeah, think about that. It's just word of mouth and popularity.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, I just wanted to bring the Kevin Hart thing up because it's just a ridiculous debate.
I think so. And that'd be like, it's like Dave Chappelle. Like nobody is arguing that he's probably one of the best stand-up comics. Yeah. He's probably the best one around right now. Like if we're being honest.
Yeah, best active, definitely, for sure.
But it's like if you're doing it, you don't compare his filmography to someone, to anyone. His filmography is nothing.
No, it's crap. He was just doing it to do it.
Kevin Hart's filmography, like no.
But hell, you know what? I would say Half Baked is probably better than any Kevin Hart movie.
maybe it's not.
Yeah.
Not. Again,
That's probably.
most
I
of
have
the
to go
really
through it.
good Kevin Hart movies.
Yeah.
Like, I think Central Intelligence is really good. I think the Jumanjis are really good.
Yeah, the Rock movies.
That's what I'm saying. Like, those are rock movies. Like, those aren't necessarily like, Kevin Hart killed that. Like, Night School was like fine.
And I'll give him credit, but
Hard was fine.
with the second, well, technically third Jumanji movie, when he actually like, wow, is he acting?
Yeah.
He's Danny Glover.
Yeah, is that Barbara's boy?
But yeah, no, that's just it.
What in tarnation?
We can just go on and on, but that's a fact. Like, we're going on, and it's like we're just making more case of like, you know what else sucks about Kevin Hart? It's like, yeah, I don't want to do
we're
that.
not trying to do that.
Nah.
Yeah.
Like Kevin Hart's hilarious. He's found his lane.
It's fun.
It's just the youth of Twitter not respecting the past.
Right.
And another thing about, we're talking about EddieMurphy.
And another thing, fuck Kevin Hart.
Yeah, Kevin Hart is short. No.
Little motherfucker.
These younger people are they just aren't on Netflix watching like 80s stand-up specials.
Yeah.
But if they were to turn on Delirious or Raw, they're shutting that off in like 10 seconds. If they,
oh my god, I'm so offended.
If they can't,
they'll be like, ooh, why is he wearing that leather suit?
Yeah, if they can't separate, the time period from like now to where you're shutting off Delirious immediately. Because like the first joke is like completely, it's like
you can't watch Raw with a modern lens at all.
No, and it's not excusing it. It's not being like, well,
you gotta realize what the 80s was.
It's just at the time it was a completely different frame of mind.
Yeah. The 80s was a place where a Chinese guy show up in a movie, a gong would go off. And this is a John Hughes movie.
Yeah, it's like, oh, look, there's a gong. And, not excusing it, but it's like you have to separate that. It's like watching Dumbo. It's like watching Dumbo and Disney Plus, and they give you the thing. It's like, look, these crows are going to come, and it's not great, but it's like Lady of the Tramp. Look, these fucking cats are going to come out, and it's bad. But you have to be able to separate. If you can, those things are like still funnier than shit. Like, you watch the lyrics.
And I think that's a great way to put it. You don't necessarily excuse it. Like, I like Disney that they're doing that they're not taking it out because it's a history lesson. This is how people felt in that time and what they didn't think was offensive.
Yeah, most people, they progress. Eddie Murphy hasn't done stand up in like over 30 years. But if he were to do stand up, that wouldn't be his act. No. He wouldn't.
And even so, when a lot of people had to retroactively apologize when he came back with the Dolomite, he had to go back and address that.
Yeah, he did. He was like, back. Right. It's not great, but at the time, that's what was funny. Like, that made people laugh. People were in a different frame of mind. He talks about AIDS. AIDS was like barely a thing when that came out, so it was like a joke. It was like fodder for comedy. It's not now, and so we've moved up. But like anybody, who's like 13, 14 is gonna go back and watch that now and be like, "Oh Jesus!"
Cancel Eddie Murphy.
Never. It's like Kevin Hart.
Kevin
Hart would never. It's like what Kevin Hart did,
and that's a funny thing.
And he's doing.
And what was the name of his last? I'm sorry, Nick.
No, you're fine.
Now, what was the name of Kevin Hart? No F's given, right?
Yeah.
But Kevin, come on, with that stand-up, you gave all of the F's. Cause
that was my biggest complaint with that, was like it didn't merit that title.
Yeah, that title at all.
It should have been like him doing a bunch of shit.
Didn't he get dragged for that shit?
Oh yeah,
he got called out a lot.
Fun.
Yeah. Just like what Nick said, he shouldn't have named it that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it should have just been like,
because you put a certain expectation on that. You targeted yourself by naming that.
I thought it was going to be like a Chappelle show level, like, I'm about to make fun of everybody.
And with Chappelle, and look at one of his last stand-up, they tried to throw that cancel culture at Chappelle, and it did not work.
They tried. But real quick, just an aside, but people, there's a lot of talk about cancel culture right now.
Oh yeah.
And I don't even know if it's a real thing that exists. But it's like nobody that's ever been like canceled, like for real, has ever like not. They've never like not really deserved it. Like there's no one. It's like nobody is like, God, I miss Kevin Spacey. It's like it's like you look at it, it's like, oof, yeah, Kevin Spacey,
Yeah.
that's pretty bad. But it's like if it's even a real thing, it's like every couple months, it's like somebody will talk about someone and it'll just go away. It's like
Yeah, and they'll be
Dave
fine.
Chappelle. It's like he's not getting canceled. He didn't do anything. Like he's telling jokes. Eminem's not getting canceled. Chris Pratt's not getting canceled. Like these aren't. Ellen isn't getting canceled.
Yeah,
So,
it's interesting.
it's like, but you'll
And
hear
even the
people
Ellen
talk-
thing, supposedly, if any of that is true, that's messed up.
Yeah, but it's
But-
like she's not.
Yeah.
If anything, she didn't do anything. It's like, oh, she should have been more involved in something that has her name on it. But
Like you said, Kevin Smith. I mean, Kevin. No, not Kevin Smith. Kevin Spacey.
Hey,
yeah, Kevin's
every
like-
New
it's
Year's
like
he want to
people
remind
that
you he's still
have actually
ticking.
Been canceled are like, Bill Cosby. It's like we're not happy about it, but it's like Jesus Christ, look at this man was a menace.
The Weinstein and people like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Harvey Weinstein and it's like these people miss. And so you have people it's like Eddie Murphy. If he were to come out now, he would get canceled. It would be
Yeah.
a horrible.
So what's the thing with Chris Pratt even? Because he's a Republican, people don't like him.
He's not even. He's never come out and been like, "Hey, I'm
That's
a
true.
Republican,"
Yeah.
he's religious.
like Catholic or something.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I was talking to my niece. We were talking about Marvel stuff, and she's real. She's like 15, and so she's real of that like Twitter. I don't know if she's on Twitter or not, but she is that age, like where she. And we were talking about something. She was like, "Isn't Chris Pratt like a horrible person?" And I was like, "Where did you hear that?" I was like, "No, have you heard anything that makes him horrible?"
Right.
She's like, "No,
That's-
but like I heard." And I was like,
That's
See?
crazy.
"Yeah."
And
So-
imagine multiply her by like 200,000 people. They
Yeah.
don't know why, but they just heard that he's supposed to be.
Yeah,
Yeah, and you just get a. Somebody said like Twitter is like bathroom stylography. It's like
that's perfect.
read it, it's like it doesn't exist.
That's the
And that's
perfect.
true. I was like, there's so many people like if you get on Twitter and if that's your news, it's
Yeah.
like what's trending today.
Hey,
And you're
how
like-
about this? The Golden Globes. You didn't watch them, Randy. You uncultured swine. You no.
I'll take it.
No,
Like-
but seriously, so the Golden Globes happened last week. They did them just like this. They were on a freaking Zoom, right, for the most part. Some people showed up live, but anyway, Jason Sudeikis, that's his name.
Yeah,
You know where I'm going.
He was
He had
zooted
on,
and
my
chilling.
man's had on a hoodie, and people were
Yeah.
trying to drag him for that. But in the same show, Jodie Foster had on a pajamas.
she had pajamas on. Chloe Zhao had like
Yeah, just
she
like a
was wearing,
t-shirt.
shirt. And like, not that I care. Like I
Yeah.
was more wondering why people were dressed up. I was like, why does Anya
Yeah.
Taylor-Joy look like that?
My
Yeah.
man Bill Murray was chilling in a Hawaiian shirt.
I saw a post of saying like women's expectations for the Golden Globes,
Yes,
and
that's
it
the one I
was
saw.
Anya Taylor-Joy, Amanda Seyfried, next to a still of Jason Sudeikis blunted out of his skull in his hoodie.
That dude he was talking, and Don Cheadle did the thing.
Yeah, that's
I even said when he came up, he was like, "Hey." It was like, remember the movie Hall Pass where they were like
Yeah.
eating the brownies, and his
Yeah.
eyes were all red. He looked exactly like
Like
that. I
that.
tried to find the picture. Like he was just like, "Hey."
But
What's
yeah,
great-
Randy, like you said, and people like, but in
Reaching.
the same breath, y'all didn't mention any of these others. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, it didn't go anywhere. Thank goodness, and it shouldn't have.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like it's like cancel culture might be a thing. Like there are people saying it doesn't exist. I'm like, it might. There are people that are out there that
No.
just like live to.
There are executives in a meeting saying, "Hey, should we reach out to this actor for this role?" And somebody responding, "No, Twitter doesn't like them." I guarantee it.
Well, let's look at his Twitter history. And it's
Yeah.
like there are people that, but like I said, it usually doesn't go anywhere unless it does. You look at that country singer guy.
Oh yeah.
We've stopped talking about that. That was like a couple weeks ago. We've stopped talking about that. That
But
dude,
even when that happened, when he said that, guess what happened with his music?
it blew
White
up.
people bought it.
The streams went up. I'm like, his PR team is like somewhere. It's like, let's just wait this out, and then you come with a comeback single, and it'll be brilliant. And that'll probably happen. And somebody will be like, wow, he's really grown. Like, that'll be the conversation.
I like
By
that
summer.
executive voice you use. You know,
Put it out here.
But you know what's messed up? I'm gonna call this something true cancel culture.
That's
people
called
with
death.
Power. What's that, Randy?
That's called death.
Yeah, well, well, not that true. Let's call it realistic cancel culture. And I'm talking about what you mentioned, executive Nick. I'm talking about people who take away jobs from the Ray Fishers.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's doing the right thing by exposing that type of behavior on sets. And
Bro, like, Kevin Feige just needs to swoop in and like offer him like, I don't know, like the next like great African American superhero MCU role.
Yeah, I think he'll be okay when this. I mean, because the crap is coming out. All these people are, coming out exposing like, yeah, you know what, he wasn't.
Warner Brothers is gonna burn down.
Yeah, but these executives that are above the people,
Hamada.
They're not being accountable, and that's what he wants, Ray Fisher. And that's why he's getting burned.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's a fight worth fighting, and I got to commend him for basically, hopefully not, but it's seemingly throwing away his career for doing.
He's
something.
Putting it on the line.
He's putting it on the line. There you go.
But yeah, those are the people that you see. It's like, Joss Whedon's never going to work again. At least not in anything that matters. Like,
no.
Because that state, we're still talking about it. Like, it's like, wow, well, that's pretty bad. Harvey Weinstein's never going to work again, even if he ever is out of prison. He's not going to be like, I can't wait to make the next movie. Like, that's not going to happen, ever. Like, it's done. You're canceled. You're done.
But like you said with the country singer, like with Whedon, his publishers, his people tell him, just lay low. You'll be okay.
And I don't want to name names. Like, I don't want this episode of the podcast to like blow up, and then when we get like, and everybody's like, these guys were name dropping all these people.
Cancel Rec League podcast.
There were a lot of actors. Like when the Me Too thing dropped, like when it first came out, and it was like, and you know who else? And you know who else?
Yeah.
There were a lot of people that got name dropped, and it went away. Like there were a lot of people. It's like you just don't talk about it anymore. Like somebody somewhere was like, nope. There's a lot of people that have gotten in trouble or like been in headlines that are affiliated with Disney projects, where it's like, nope, that was nope. And I don't know,
like you said, affiliated, like certain people who got quote unquote canceled because of old tweets came back up. And a little bit of time came, and they've been hired by like two of the biggest studios.
It's like they tried with Kevin Hart.
Yeah,
they tried more than once with Kevin Hart. That's like they really been like,
they took away his Oscar hosting gig because of
Yep. It's like, it sucks. This tweet from 2008, and it's like, wait, huh? Yeah. No.
All right.
I feel like the world knows the difference between somebody that actually does something and then whatever. All
right, now that we back and we not Me Tooing anymore, Nick. I want to get everybody's reaction to the Coming to America sequel. So Nick, what did you think?
All right. Well, in the same interest of not really wanting to like be on here and like trash someone, I guess I'm gonna have to. I had one glaring issue with Coming to America that I haven't heard a lot of people talk about. I thought the movie was fine at best and worst. Like, it didn't really offend me or anything as a fan of the original. I thought it was fine. It made me laugh. The main plot of the movie, as is told in the trailers, is that Prince Akeem is seeing if he has a long-lost son. Like, this is the thing. To be the heir to the throne. The dude that plays his son.
Jermaine Fowler.
Jermaine Fowler. I'm sorry to Jermaine Fowler. If you're listening to this, if we get famous and in years you hear this this isn't me talking shit on Jermaine Fowler. That dude was so miscast in that role. I could not believe it at times. No one else even seems to be saying, like, they're just like, whatever. It's not that he was bad, but it's just he added nothing to that role at all. He wasn't. Not that again, I'm gonna say, it's not me talking shit. It's not that he was bad. Like, I was like, good God, he was horrible. He brought nothing to that part. It was like, if it was written just like that, he did it as that. Like, it was like line, pause, line. Like, there was no characters. Like, Leslie Jones came in as this new character and, like,
Killed
did
it.
her thing as
Yeah.
a character. She was funny. Tracy Morgan, he wasn't in it very much, but he did his thing as that character. Like, he was the uncle. It's like, of course he is. That dude, he didn't add anything to that role. Like, it should have been someone funny.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like, it should have been like a young up and coming. And like, he is a funny guy, I guess. He's like a comedian. He's on a show that I didn't watch. I'm sorry.
I don't
But,
disagree.
Like, he didn't add it. That was my biggest glaring issue that no one else seems to be bringing up. Everyone's comparing it to the original. I knew it wouldn't really compare to the first one, like, going in. I was like, this isn't going to be as good. Like,
Yeah.
let me get some laughs. Let me see him play these characters again. So on that level, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed seeing him play all those roles. I enjoyed seeing the original cast back. It did really feel forced. Like Randy said in his review, like he was talking about all these comedies that come
Somebody
get
watch.
sequels. And we were talking about it on the last episode. Like, these comedies get sequels years later, and it's just like, ugh. It's just like, this one is just, everybody loves Coming to America so much that it's just like, look, I just want to see him do it. Like, just do it again. Like, it could have been an SNL sketch, and it would have just been like, doesn't have him play the barbers again. That'll be funny. But that was my biggest issue. It was like, it made me laugh. I didn't get emotional or anything. Like, some people have like an emotional attachment to the first one. I didn't go there. I just thought, like, that dude should have been recast with someone funny. Like, you can't really go toe to toe with like these comedy legends. But like, that dude was kind of like the main character of the movie.
Yeah.
Kind of. Like, it like followed him. Like, he just added nothing. Like, it was just like, ugh. It should have been like I don't want to say it, like Kevin Hart type, but like a Kevin Hart type, like somebody like a newer, like he's not young enough to have played that role. No offense, Kevin Hart, if you're listening, but like somebody like that, like somebody that would have like been put in it and like added that new like flavor, like, oh, this dude's funny.
That's what I'm saying though. When the the NBA All-Star game is tonight, when the selections came out, like, there were like analysts talking about, if you want to add a player, you got to take out. So who's in their late 20s, early 30s that could have been the Jermaine Fowler character?
I'm trying to think. Like, I'm sure there's somebody, and I'm just like blanking. It's like he didn't even have like jokes. Like, the funniest scene he was in was probably the scene with Colin Jost.
Yeah.
And they were like, don't do a white voice. And he was like, hello, or something.
Yeah.
Like, it was like kind of funny, but like not really. The funniest part of that scene was Colin Jost and his like little like winky joke. Like, that was funny. That killed me. I don't know. That's what I kept coming back to watching. I was like, I'm not disappointed in the film. I'm not mad at this or that. But like, that was like, oh, this could have been better for this obvious reason. But I don't know. Maybe that's what y'all were thinking exactly in your head, and I just stole your thunder. Because I don't know.
No, like, I didn't love him as the heir apparent, whatever you want to call him, but I didn't hate him. I agree with what you're saying.
Word. I'm not gonna be like, oh, I hated him in this role. It's not that he was bad or good. Like, he was just there.
Yeah.
Like, that filled me. I would almost rather him just be horrible. Like, wow, he sucked. Like, like Sofia Coppola and The Godfather. Like, it's like, he sucked. But it's like, you remember her being there. It's like, this is like, I don't even remember him. I don't even remember the role he played. he had like this swagger. Like he would walk in and he was like, I don't know, like it wasn't funny. Like it was almost like he was too cool. So maybe this is a backhanded compliment. It was almost like he was like too cool for the role. Like he walked in and he was just like, he had his hair all done. And he was just like, I was like, what? He's supposed to. It should be like a Princess Diaries type thing. It's like he should be not ready and he should be funny and goofy and come to this palace and it should be like a real culture shock. Like, oh my god, what the fuck am I doing here? And it was just kind of like, I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm a guy and I'm here. We're in Delaware. Like it was just like, I don't know. Nobody seems to be talking about that. Like it was. I guess it wasn't a glaring issue for anyone else.
Eric, what you got?
Main Fowler.
No, that's an interesting take. And I think that probably speaks to the strength of the movie. He's surrounded by people who uplift the movie, and
yeah,
I agree. It's kind of conflicting. It makes you conflicted. He's not good and he's not bad. Like, why the hell is he even there? But yeah, I think yeah, I can't disagree with that. I didn't necessarily. It was just whatever. Yeah,
it's
they
almost
didn't
like you didn't think about it while you watched it.
Right.
It was like,
yeah, they didn't try to play up the fish out of water. He just got there like, yeah, this is it.
Yeah, like, oh shit, an elephant.
Like, yeah, that's right. They tried to do it like they almost hit it, and I think it's one of the better scenes with him. He was about to get bathed by the women, and he was like, oh, what, like y'all coming? That was he should have been more of that.
It should have been funnier. Like he should.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's why I'm not in the industry. It's like there's somebody going to listen to this and be like, Jesus, this young man knows nothing. that it would have been overkill if he'd have been like, you know, somebody comes in and is like, let's bathe you. It should have been like
I feel like I laughed when he asked them if they was gonna be naked.
Yeah. No, that was funny. Like I said, but other than that, it hits. Well, it doesn't hit because he's just pretty much there. But I wouldn't say this one thing bothered me, but we know what it was. So originally the movie was gonna be out in theaters, right? You know, a lot of movies were. Every single movie actually, but
every movie in the world.
So watching this movie, it's obvious that I'm go back to the first one for a second, but watching this movie, it's obvious it was filmed as a PG-13 movie, right?
Yeah.
So the first movie was rated R, and this is what kind of lent itself to Eddie Murphy's talent with the first movie. The first Coming to America came a year after Eddie Murphy's Raw stand-up, right? Eddie Murphy set the F-word, the F-bomb record with Eddie Murphy Raw. In Coming to America, following year in '88, Eddie Murphy only cusses 3 times.
Yeah, it's not really that R-rated.
And actually, it's not not by that standards, but Eddie Murphy himself is surrounded by everybody else that makes the movie R-rated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with the new Coming to America, you got Tracy Morgan, you got Leslie Jones, you got Eddie Murphy, and you got a few others. You got Linnell, you got all of these raunchy comedians in this PG-13 movie. And I'm surprised it came together as well as it did with all these raunchy comedians that are sanitized. And that speaks to, I guess, the strength of the filmmakers. Like, man, I bet if this movie was an Amazon movie out the gate, they would have made it a hard R.
Yeah.
But obviously they thought it was going to the theaters and they wanted to maximize profits.
Yeah, Paramount was trying to get them their box office money.
Yeah, understandable. And even when it was announced for there was a lot of time when it was Amazon bought it. Obviously that makes it more obvious it was shot as a PG-13 because they didn't put anything back in.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, the movie itself, the look of the movie, production design, costume design, the movie looks great.
Yeah.
And and the thing, I don't know what it is with belated comedy sequels that tend to do bad. I mean, comedies are the only genre that seems to fail at the belated sequel. You know, for example, you got Blade Runner 2049, which came, and it's a damn modern classic, considered by many. But I I think Coming to America, it didn't fall in the Zoolander 2 category.
Oh,
You're just repeating my review.
So,
but I think the movie in itself was funny. It made me, and you can't. It's just unfair to compare it to his predecessor. That's just, it's not gonna be what.
Zoolander 2, to me, is like an example. Like I said this on the last thing. I think Zoolander 1 is just like I love it. It's so funny, and it grew in popularity enough that they made a 2. Mm-hmm. It's almost like when you watch Zoolander 2, that Ben Stiller and like it's like they didn't get why people loved the first one. It's like they didn't get like it was like because it wasn't that big a hit when it was in theaters, and it kind of grew.
Yeah, it found its audience on video.
Kind of like Anchorman did the same thing. It was like it did well, and then it came out, and everybody saw it, and it was like, holy shit, this is the best. Mm-hmm. And it was almost like it was like, well, I guess we should make a sequel and just redo all the stuff that we did in the first one. Like, just do the same gags again. Give Will Ferrell a latte and have him throw it on Todd. Like, he did that in the first one. It was funny. And it makes no sense in the second one to do it just to repeat.
Yeah, just
that
gags.
was something like coming.
And I think what that is. No, go ahead, Nick.
No, I was just gonna say it didn't. It touched on a lot of stuff from the first one, but it didn't do an overabundance of that, which I was like.
There you go. And what that is, I think a good word for that may be is finding a good balance.
Yeah, I think
that's what Zoolander 2, they were just doing stuff just for the sake of it. Like certain, like what comedy sequels do, they tend to lean on cameos from the previous movies.
Yeah.
And you got to do that just right. You got to hit on it. There's a couple of moments in Coming to America where they but they didn't get crazy with it. Well, like Zoolander 2. With, is it Michael Eric Dyson? Like, hey, Michael Eric Dyson, everybody look at Michael,
Like Billy Zane had that one scene in Zoolander 1. And it's just like, it's not that great a scene, but it's just funny because it's like, it's so random that it's him. And he's like, cool, Zane. And you're like, you just listen to your friend Billy Zane. He's a cool dude.
Yeah.
Like, it's so funny for no reason. Like, we just loved it. We just laughed at it. On the second one, they're like, let's have Billy Zane come and be like a shaman and tell him the whole plot of the movie. It's like kind of funny on paper, but it's just kind of like
it doesn't hit
for 2 hours. It's like, well, you're telling me why I should think this is funny.
But I think
like,
I think all of us probably got the same rating on Coming to America. I think it's probably well, I don't know for Randy, but I know at least myself and Nick. I got it at 3 out of 5.
I gave it a 3. Like, I was like, it's not lower than a 3.
Yeah.
It's better than Morbid.
Okay, I gave it a 3.5.
3.
Yeah, see, they basically almost the same, and it's just, it is what it is, and I'm surprised after 33 years that it was they were able to do what they did with it, because
I'm kind of glad. Because out of the gate, like the first couple people I saw that watched it were like, oh, God, it sucks. And like I saw it's like Rotten Tomatoes was like kind of low. And my expectations weren't that high. Like I was like, it's coming to America. I'm going to watch it. Like it's not like I even give a shit. But I'm kind of glad that the general consensus with people, not like Wonder Woman, where it was like critics liked it and people were just like shitting all over it. It was like, the general consensus seems to be it's like I'm just glad we got it. Like it was just like it's that same thing. It's like who even gives a shit? Like it brings a couple laughs out of the premise that we've loved for over 30 years. Like that, I'm good. So I'm glad that kind of seems to be the consensus of it. It's like everyone's like, but I think you were talking about it being in theaters. It would have been better in a theater.
Yeah,
like a crowd of people.
And that's what I wanted to touch on. But
ending would have been better in a theater with people like clapping and stuff.
And Nick, you mentioned this earlier about attention span, and you talk about being better in theater. And I think about this: you still had your a-holes in theaters when those were still a thing, texting and not paying attention. Think about people on Amazon Prime at home and the comfortability of their home. Think about people
on their phone, pausing it and doing all that.
I bet a lot of them aren't even pausing it.
I hate it.
They're just background noise. It sucks. I'm not really watching it.
My mom is the queen of doing like if I want to like go watch something with my mom or like show my mom something, she'll get up and just be like, "You don't have to pause it." I'm like, I like being like she's the queen of doing that. She don't even realize. That's all right. She don't even realize she's doing it. She just got something to do. She's like, "No, you don't have to stop it for me."
I hate that. I love. I think Get Out. Just a little quick example. We've all seen this movie, right?
I don't know what that is.
I don't think so.
Now, remember the first scene of Get Out is kind of an important scene, right?
With Lakeith.
Yeah. Exactly. And I was watching it with, I think, my cousin and my auntie, and my cousin was doing something, and she was like, "Oh, let it play." He's real good with catching up. I'm like, unless he's psychic, he really needs to see this first scene.
Yeah.
It's not going to make sense when this character comes back. I'm going,
man, that men's humor post touched so many people on so many different levels.
Oh man, but yeah, it's I bet a lot. I wonder what the percentage of people which are a lot, who watch movies on streaming like that, just halfway watching it. And it's unfair to a large degree.
I try not to do that. It's hard.
Yeah.
Like
it is, admittedly.
Have your phone. Like it's hard to not be like.
And that's why I watched it twice.
But yeah, like it would have been better. It would have played better. If not every movie that comes to streaming would be better in a theater.
Yeah.
Like I'm so glad I didn't watch Malcolm and Marie in a theater.
There are a lot of just pissed off people.
Are the Oscar nomination cutoffs already done?
I think they're coming out in another week or two.
Does this qualify?
I don't know. I think so. It does qualify.
Costume design and all that.
It's March. It's March, huh?
Yeah.
Hey, because Wesley Snipes put up some Instagram posts of like his goatee and his braids and stuff.
Yeah, makeup and.
Hey, they got down.
Makeup and costume, at least costume design for the new Coming to.
I damn near thought that Wesley Snipes grew his shit out.
Yeah, and makeup, hair and makeup. That's the category now. It's not just makeup.
Wesley Snipes was funny.
Yeah.
In Coming to America, but again, I said it's like he's not even a comedian.
Right, but he
That's
added some
movies in a row where he's been funny and has risen to the challenge of playing that character funny. The main dude of the story should have been funny. Like he should have been.
How about this? What if they were? But no, that's obviously probably weren't. If he was just purposely the straight guy, you think that's what they were going for?
Eddie, to me, Akeem is the straight guy. Like that's Eddie Murphy's not really putting forth a ton of effort in his performance as Akeem Coming to America, but he's the lead. Like it's like we know Akeem. It's him. He was kind of the straight guy in the first one.
Yeah.
Right. Everything funny was happening around him.
Yeah, he's not like a zany character. But that's what worked. He's coming to America and dealing with everything around him.
I got to give you this, though. The first is a mild spoiler. When they did the flashback and they were showing the scenes from the actual first movie.
Yeah.
And then there was a quick transition to Arsenio's character. That was a really seamless transition.
I thought so.
When they cut to him right away, and then you're like, oh, they doing this thing they trying to do.
Are we talking about like the retcon when he went to go hunt?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it was right when they cut to him still in the club, and it was obviously
they had them looking like kind of young. I thought that worked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I read a review or something that said like it's kind of spotty. I was like, I bought it.
Yeah. Well, a lot of that is gonna be
watching it like funny.
Yeah, but no, it's yeah, like I said, just it's a 33-year belated sequel. Is
And also like another reason I'm surprised that like it worked. I don't think Coming to America of all like Eddie Murphy's like classics, I don't think it lends itself to a sequel as easily as like
they that's true too.
No,
they could have just done another 48 Hours or like another Beverly Hills Cop and like
written it. They are doing.
They've been talking about Beverly Hills Cop 4 for 25 years.
They have. Like, it's been a TV show. It's like he could have done another Nutty Professor. Like, they could have written it in, like, a day and just been like, all right, okay. So it's like, I felt like, they put forth effort into, like, what's a reason we can have it. But you can't do Coming to America without, it's like, most of the cast is still alive. It's like,
Right.
James Earl Jones is still living. Like, you have to put him in the movie. It's like John Amos is still here. Like, you have to put him in the movie.
Yeah.
If you put him in the movie, it's like Louis Anderson's got to be working
Yeah.
at Owls. Like, he's still here. He's relevant. He's around. Like, you don't just not put him in.
Right. Admittedly, Eddie Murphy has been saying that a lot of these movies, he said that to be done for the right reason. He's admitted a lot of his movies in the 2000s and stuff were paycheck movies.
Clearly.
And so that's why I think they might, well, unless they can't find it, they might, a good script, I think they will do Beverly Hills Cop 4. But, yeah.
What is old ass Axel Foley doing now?
He's got to be a captain or something, and
Yeah.
one of his, like, detectives or something gets, it has to be something like that. He can't be a 65-year-old.
Yeah, every Beverly Hills Cop started with, like, someone he knew getting shot. It was like, gotta be Judge Reinhold getting shot. Judge Reinhold?
Oh, man. But, yeah, it's, yeah, like you said, obviously effort was put into this. It wasn't just a cash grab. And I think that's why it came out fairly decent.
I didn't get that vibe. Even though, like, it might have been, like, it still was like, yeah, it's not as good as it could have been. Not as good as it, not that great compared to the first one. It was still like,
and it was never going to be.
They all wanted to do it. Like, and it was like, I really want to do a sequel to Coming to America. And the rest of the cast were like, fuck yeah. It wasn't just like, pay me and I guess I'll show up.
And like you said, they actually did a lot of revisions of the script. At one point in time, Tracy Morgan was supposed to be the son.
No shit.
It wouldn't have worked. He's too old, but like
that's what they said. That's why they changed it.
It would have been funnier. Like it would have been like, holy shit.
They could have used that to. They could have played with that. Used it to like, they're a little too old, but yeah.
It would have been funnier. Like that guy can't be the king of Zamunda. That would work. That's wacky.
Yeah, now that you think of it, yeah, it's interesting.
Walked in with all the swagger, like, oh shit, it's my castle. And it was like,
yeah. But now they can't.
You know who could have maybe been the son? Now that I'm thinking about it, like he's around that age. Dude from Snowfall. I don't know if he has any comedic chops, but he's in that age group.
Yeah.
Damson Idris. Daniel Kaluuya could have probably maybe even done it.
Yeah, that's interesting. He's been so busy. They probably could.
Funny, like a funny guy. Like it has to be funny.
I want to see these dramatic dudes be funny.
Funny guy. Fuck. Maybe that's why he got the job.
But that's interesting. But I think that speaks to the strength of the movie. Is that while he was there and really didn't contribute, the movie still it showed it well, not exploded. Heightens the real strengths of the movie. That he's so much of a, I guess, weakness in it. But yeah, that's
so mean. That sounds mean. I guess I did though. It was a weak part. See, if I was like, that's maybe why I would be like a horrible movie reviewer. Because you got these reviewers that are just like, he's a flat tire on an otherwise beautiful car. And I'm like,
dude, I'm a horrible reviewer. I turn the camera on and I just ramble.
Like, I don't know. Like, it makes me feel bad. It's like, like nothing against that guy. Like, he might do something. Like, wasn't he in Judas and the Black Messiah? I don't even remember him.
Yeah, I forget his who, but yeah, he was in it.
Yeah, he was not a major,
but that was one of my only issues with that movie. It's like I thought it was outstanding, but there were so many characters that were supposed to have these like dramatic things in the story, and I was like, who was he? Like I was like, focused on these guys. Yeah. Anyway, I feel like he was important to the movie, and I don't remember who he played. Maybe that speaks to his ability actor. And we need to rethink him being the king of Zamunda or the prince or whatever.
Yeah.
Shit.
But no, that seems to be only gripe with the movie, right? It was good seeing them utilize modern technology, them actually being in the same frame, seamlessly.
Shout out Kiki Lane, though.
Yeah, up until a couple of years ago, I thought Eddie Murphy played the other barbershop guy. It's like there's the main barbershop guy that he plays.
I'm the king of this
The one that
barbershop.
Arsenio plays, and then the guy who's like, he's good. That boy's good.
You talk about
Clint
Up until
Smith.
a couple years ago, I thought that was Eddie Murphy.
nah. He was actually in Trading Places. He was the other guy in jail. He's like, what is you ignorant?
Yeah, and
That's
like
him.
once I read that and thought, I was like, it was like the
Yeah, that's Clint
the
Smith.
dialogue. Like I was like, no fucking way. And now I rewatch it. I'm like, how did I
Yeah,
think?
he was the only one that wasn't Arsenio or Eddie.
Yeah.
It looks like him in the makeup in the original. He looked different in this one.
Watching it the other day, my wife didn't believe that Eddie was the Jewish dude.
Yes, that's still some amazing. And shouts out to I don't know who the new makeup the special effects makeup guy is, but that's good work following up Rick Baker. You know, Rick Baker is the king of makeup effects. And they
Austin Powers Goldmember came out. My dad refused to believe that Mike Myers played Goldmember for some reason.
Oh, really?
Like, it's clearly him. He's like, no.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a keeper.
Yeah. I was like, who would it be?
Yo, so I put that question on Twitter the other day.
What's that?
The favorite Eddie Murphy movies. Nick put it on Instagram. Friend of the show, Sean. What up, Sean? We've talked about all the movies he named. Coming to America, obviously, Trading Places, Beverly Hills Cop, Golden Child. Nick, you want to run through some of the responses you got?
No.
Dick.
Let me find it real quick.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
I accidentally deleted it. And here it is. Yeah, Sean said Coming to America. That's Kirkland2215 on Instagram. He's a friend of the show. He's all around great. He said Coming to America. Someone who I won't name because I don't want to put him on blast. She said, I haven't seen any besides I Spy.
Put him on blast. Who said that? Who is that?
I said, wait, you've never seen Shrek? And she went, okay, I saw Shrek. So I'm going to put her as Shrek.
Okay, I Spy isn't a bad pick, though.
Oh, man.
I was like, you've seen nothing other than I Spy? Like, why?
Sit your ass down. When you get up, sit down.
Hammer Forever, the number 4. He said Shrek. He loves Shrek. Oh, God. Emil Asinen. You'll find him. 2 E's at the beginning. He said 48 hours. Linz Marie, she put 3. She said The Golden Child / Mulan / Beverly Hills Cop. Golden Child. And that's what I said to her. I was like, and then this other dude's name is just a bunch of numbers, said The Golden Child.
Oh, wow.
A lot of Golden Child love.
Then
I want the knife, please.
See, I'm going to put this out here right
I
quick.
randomly quote The Golden Child. I'll just be like if anybody's eating chips, I just want the chips. I just want some chips. I'm just like, that's a stupid movie.
I'm going to put it out there right quick, though. I prefer Shrek 2 over the first one.
I like Shrek 2. I don't think it's as good as the first one. I think it suffers a tad from that sequelitis of like.
I think maybe plot, maybe like plot and story, Shrek is better. But for like pop culture references and all that stupid like Rodeo Drive shit, Shrek 2 floors me. The catnip joke gets me every time.
Killed me in the theater. Like I was like 14 or 15.
The gingerbread man joke shot me when I.
Killed me in the theater.
Yeah. And shout out to the team who made the first Shrek because that was a punishment project. I don't know if y'all heard the story about that.
Yeah, I've heard that.
That was the BC project.
Yeah.
It
was gonna be so different. It was supposed to star Chris Farley.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's still footage on the YouTube if y'all want to hear Chris Farley as Shrek.
It was Lion King over Pocahontas. What was the Pocahontas in this story?
There was
like Spirit Stallion of the Cimarron or some
was,
shit.
I forget which movie it was. Something that didn't do as well. We forget about it.
Legend of Sinbad.
I make the movie Spirit all the time because like it's this great movie. I love it. I think Spirit is a great movie. It's beautiful animation.
Yeah.
But what I hate about that movie is I hate Bryan Adams. Like, his music is like the worst to me, and he does the whole soundtrack of that movie,
Oh wow.
and it's the worst shit in the entire world. And I say it doesn't ruin the movie, but like that movie could have been like one of DreamWorks like goats, and like it's just kind of there because like his music like narrates. It's so cheesy. Like, Matt Damon like narrates the movie, and he's like, I was a horse, and they put me on this train, and I didn't know where I was going, but I knew I needed to be there. And then like you got Bryan Adams comes in, it's like, I was on a train. Oh, the pain. And it's like, oh,
wow.
so stupid. And
No.
it's every other scene.
Really on the nose. Now that you bring it up, I'm starting to remember.
It's every other scene with Bryan fucking Adams. I don't care if Bryan Adams here, so I hate his shit.
Damn.
Oh, it's so cheesy. And otherwise, outstanding movie. That's what you need to know. That people need to know.
All right. One time before we close out, Nick, what you got ranked 39th?
Okay. I was going to ask. I didn't know if we were going to talk about this. Like, there's a lot of shitty Eddie Murphy movies.
I give you my worst Eddie Murphy movie.
You mean
Go ahead.
Eric, I alluded to mine yesterday.
I feel like the one I have ranked last is not a lot of people's lasts, but I think it's worse than a considerable amount of his shitty movies that people like talk about being shitty. The Haunted Mansion sucks.
Okay.
I think that movie is just trash. Like, it's not good. And I've tried to watch it a few times. I own it.
Yeah.
I've tried to watch it.
I bought it for that binge.
And it's not good. Like, it's not even that it's aggressively horrible. It's just like there's nothing special about it.
Nope.
It's like, dude, this is nothing. It makes no use of his comedic skills.
Wasn't it just like that cash grab Disney ride flipped into a movie?
That's
I was just about to say that. It comes off as Pirates of the Caribbean work.
I was about to say they came out the same year as Pirates.
Yeah, we got it. And it's like say what you want about Pluto Nash or Meet Dave or 1,000 Words. They're not good, but they are making use of his comedic, his like jubilance as a comedian. They aren't good, but it's like the Haunted Mansion is just him there. Like, he's just like, that could have been played by anyone, and it would have been the exact same movie.
I don't hate 1,000 Words.
Good. That's not.
And you know
good.
something about Pluto Nash? That there's
bad.
one scene in that movie toward the end that you got to give credit to. I don't know the last time y'all seen it. The scene, spoiler my ass. It's a terrible movie. No spoiler.
Yeah.
The scene where he meets his clone.
Yeah.
That was some good damn visual effects with Eddie Murphy interacting with himself.
I don't think
And he fights himself.
I'm even looking at my ranking. I've got it ranked like stupid low. I don't.
Well, a Haunted Mansion. That's yeah.
Out of
It's
35.
better than Haunted Mansion.
Yeah,
because
I agree.
I rewatched some of his shitty movies last year, like in particular, or like just the ones like I either hadn't seen in a long time or just like forgot, and I didn't remember Pluto Nash. Like, I was like, dude, I know I watched it when it came out, but I don't remember it. So like, went back, found it, watched it, and like, it's not good, but like, it's something. It's like somebody wrote it and thought it was good. And
It's an actual funny joke in Pluto Nash. Yeah, I don't know if y'all agree with me, but so Randy Quaid is like an android or something in the movie, right?
Yeah.
And Rosario Dawson asked him like, "Oh, why is he always happy?" He's like, "Oh, he got a happiness chip." And like, yeah, like I'd be happy too. Somebody put a happiness chip in my ass. And he's like, "That's why."
Like, it's something. Like, Pluto Nash is something. Like, somebody wrote the script and thought like, this is something. Like, this might be a good vehicle for Eddie Murphy. Like, this is something. They probably went through rewrites and went through a bunch of shit. And
it was on the shelf for almost 3 years.
Yeah, like, it's like
finished.
Like, it looked good, but it was like an original piece of something.
Yeah.
And it's better than Meet Dave, which I feel like everyone just forgot about. But the Haunted Mansion is like nothing original. Like, it's just there. It's the Jermaine Fowler of Eddie Murphy.
Meet Dave, you mean the movie where Kevin Hart was the seventh billed actor?
I do.
Yes. Yeah.
He
Yeah.
left Dave.
Meet Dave is last for me. Pluto Nash is second to last.
Interesting. Man.
Yeah,
So that's it, Randy? Yeah, you got nothing to say?
Did we get your least favorite, Eric?
Oh, no. Mine is, I don't know, might be controversial because everybody seems to like this movie and I hate it.
Come on with it.
For two big reasons.
Uh-oh.
One, the movie itself is just not funny to me. The movie is actually Oscar nominated. We talk about makeup. Look at Nick. Nick knows what.
What?
I think it's funny. It's not a good movie, but it makes me laugh.
Oh, Randy still lost. Nick, hold on. So Norbit.
Okay.
I can't stand Norbit.
I've never seen Norbit.
Oh, now I'm just not really any way to give anything away. For the talent involved in that movie, my stomach should be in knots.
Yeah, it should be better than it is. Like, for sure.
And
for sure.
It's just, I don't know, it's just something about it that just rubs me the wrong way. It's not entertaining to me. It's just, like, wow, I like Eddie Murphy coming with the Norbit character. It's a good character, but it's something just not clicking with the movie. It just,
It makes me laugh. It's not good. I remember being really excited for Norbit. Like, it came out the same
Yeah, me too.
time that Dreamgirls, they blame that for his Dreamgirls.
And that's the other reason I don't really like it.
Yeah.
That movie lost him the Oscar, not his performance.
I don't think that's fair because I remember at the time, I was like in high school.
Yeah.
And I was excited for both things. I was like, dude, Eddie Murphy is getting Oscar love. He's got a new movie coming out where he's playing multiple roles. Like, I remember being so excited for Norbit. Like, it's not good. It's a bad movie, but like it makes me laugh, and so I have to give it credit for that. Like, when a comedy movie doesn't make you laugh, Holmes and Watson. When you sit and watch Holmes and Watson,
there you go.
And you don't laugh, like that is the most painful shit. That's like worse than anything. Like that's worse than like a horror movie not being scary, because at least it could be like, well, there's a pretty actress. This is kind of an entertaining. But like when a comedy movie isn't funny, it's like you start thinking it's longer than it is, and start looking around and getting bored. It's like, oof.
Yeah, but definitely Norbit
makes me laugh.
Is number 2, but the only reason I'm talking about it because the worst movie, a lot of people, like you said, haven't seen it or they've just forgotten about it. So I'm giving Norbit more attention, even though it's number 2. But the worst is Meet Dave.
Oh, Meet Dave. Poor Dave.
That's the worst, but have y'all ever had a conversation with anybody about that movie?
Just on here.
Yeah, no.
Right, just now. Other than right
now. That's the first time I've ever talked about Meet Dave.
I don't think anybody knows Kevin Hart is in the movie with Eddie Murphy.
No.
You know what I mean?
It's like there's no debate. There's no debate on Twitter if people just pull Meet Dave.
Yeah. I don't think people know that.
Joke? Wasn't there like a Family Guy joke? That like Brian or somebody was talking to somebody who said he'd seen every movie in the world. He was like, "Really? You've seen Meet Dave?"
Yeah, I think that was a joke.
It was something like that. Like,
but admittedly, Eddie Murphy was still in his "give me money" mode, and that actually probably started with Pluto Nash when they gave him that $20 million up front. And
oh yeah.
He was
$20 million to be in Pluto Nash.
Oh yeah.
What a fucking legend. That's so I can see somebody somewhere. You look at the poster for Pluto Nash, you read the script and think, Eddie Murphy will make this work. You think, this is kind of weird, but maybe it's great. Like, there's somebody, I can see that. Like, I can see somebody reading that and thinking, maybe it'll be great. Maybe it'll just be like Zoolander. It's like, you look at it, it's like, this is weird. Anchorman, like Napoleon Dynamite. These movies, like, these are weird, but they're great. They turn out. Like, it's like, wow, okay, they made the irreverence work. I can see someone with Pluto Nash thinking that was going to be the case, and it just kind of failed. Like, it was like, just didn't work out for him. But that's why I feel like I have it ranked low, like low. But like most of his movies outside of those, I like on some level. Like I think even those, like I gave The Haunted Mansion like a 2. Like it's not like a star and a half to me. It's like a 2. Like it's watchable. It's just not great. Like I think I got Meet Dave at a 2. Because like I rewatched that last year, and like I didn't like want to die. Like I was like, this is watchable.
Meet Dave is my only under 2-star rating.
Yeah. As I even thought, I was like, it's watchable. Like I'm not like wishing I was on fire right now. Like I'm just watching it. Like I was like, oh, this isn't good. And like 1,000 Words got shelved for like years.
Yeah.
And came out shortly after Tower Heist was kind of like a little resurgence.
Yep.
Right.
That was a good movie. And I think everybody kind of agreed that was a good movie, and EddieMurphy was probably the best thing about it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, finally, Eddie's doing something funny. And 1,000 Words came out like right after it and just got trashed. Like it got just, I mean, reamed. Like isn't that like a 0 on Rotten Tomatoes or something?
I think
probably.
And it's like, that's not his worst movie.
Yeah.
Like when you watch it, it's not good. Like I've said, it's not cinema. It's not art. But like, it's watchable. Like it's something. It's something. Like it's there.
Man,
it exists. It's a movie.
Since we're talking about him, there's I was just looking at his how much he got paid for his movies, and yeah, he's all right.
Disgusting. Yeah,
Yeah,
just
20 mil for Nash. He was technically like, where was he billed in Tower Heist?
Second.
Yeah, he was the highest paid.
There's some posters that are just him and Ben Stiller.
Yeah, because that was a stacked cast. That was like an ensemble.
Dude, that's what I think that's what got Brett Ratner directing Beverly Hills Cop 4 started.
Right.
Well, Brett Ratner was supposed to direct the Oscars that year with EddieMurphy.
Yeah.
Man, he ran his big mouth.
Yep. And kept working after that. I should say, in the interest of cancel culture, kept working for quite some time after that. Like it was like
I remember. What year did Nutty Professor come out? 97?
6.
96. So he was being interviewed. I gotta find this interview for y'all, like on a red carpet or something. And this interviewer asked him, like, "Hey, Eddie Murphy, you got your big comeback. What you?" And Eddie Murphy, oh man, Eddie Murphy looked at him. He's like comeback. Like, where did I go?
Yeah.
He said, I've been working since I was 14. He's like,
yeah, it was like kind of a comeback, but like not really. It was a comeback in terms of quality.
Yeah,
but
hits and all that.
Like you said, he stayed working throughout all that.
Oh,
it's like that's when earlier I said Nutty Professor is like a newer movie. It's not. It's 25 years old.
Yeah.
But that was like part of his second win. Like it was like, and he had a second win, and now he's kind of having his third win. Because it was like a Nutty Professor. It was like he started having a bunch of kids. And it seemed like everything he did for 10 years.
He said a bunch of kids.
Dr. Dolittle, Daddy Daycare, Dr. Dolittle 2, Haunted Mansion.
Yeah, imagine that.
Imagine that. That's ranked. That's I think my highest ranked 2.5. Because it's not good, but like it's cute in its way, but it's not good.
Who's good at math on this?
It's bottom 5.
What's 20% of 166 million?
1.6 billion. Where are we going to come up with $100,000?
Now I was saying that because he got paid $20 million up front for Nutty Professor 2 plus 20% of the movie's total gross.
God.
Yeah.
Legend. And you know that movie made a ton of money.
Yeah, it made 166 million worldwide.
I would have thought it made more than that, but that's a lot.
So 123 million domestically. Now,
yeah, you
gotta realize it's internationally.
20 years ago, that's a lot of money.
Universal got hustled.
It's like I've got Vampire in Brooklyn. I think was my lowest rated 3. It's like again, not cinema. Like that's not art. That's not a good movie. Like I
That
kind of
movie had real like bipolar disorder. They didn't know what it wanted to be.
Yeah.
it's kind of like
really
the
imbalanced.
portrayal of horror movies. Like it's like this is more of a horror movie than a comedy.
We not
It's
gonna
like,
besmirch Wes Craven out here though.
No, but then you got to play in the character. The Italian character was funny. I'm like, yeah, that was fucking garlic.
Yeah, like,
And the preacher.
Vampire in Brooklyn is probably like that's probably the shittiest Eddie Murphy movie that I like, except for maybe Boomerang. Like it's like that's not a good movie, but I do like it. Like when I watch it, I'm like, Wes Craven. Like Wes Craven still delivered a pretty solid vampire.
Yeah, it's just
It's
a
kind of like,
combination of things just in.
Yeah.
You have an expectation with Eddie Murphy being the lead. You think, oh, this is gonna be funny. It's like kind of funny, but it's like more of a horror movie.
Yeah, because they go straight out horror in the end.
Horror movie than it is like a comedy. It's like something like what is it? Like shit. What is it? What's the vampire show that's on FX?
Oh, What We Do in the Shadows.
Things We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah, I'm thinking it was like We in the Shadows. I can't remember. But it's Taika Waititi. Like that's comedy. Like that's a vampire comedy. That's him injecting that humor into that. I think like people thought Vampire in Brooklyn was going to be that. Like him and Kadeem Hardison. Like it's like, oh, it's going to be funny as shit, and it's like kind of funny. It's just like more of a horror movie. And then like I think Holy Man. That's another one that everybody shits on.
Forgot about that.
Like about as good as The Golden Child to me. Like,
Yeah.
like, not bad. Like it's like a 3. Like a lot of his, like when I was doing this ranking, I was surprised. I was like, most of his movies, it's like he's got like the
What year
all-time-
did that come out? Is that 98?
Something like that.
Yeah, I think Holy Man was 98.
It's all these like obscure
Like a
movies.
lot of his movies are just 3s. So it's like at better, at worst. The people
Okay, how about this? Where do y'all have Mr. Church? People don't talk about that.
I haven't seen it.
It's pretty low, but I gave it a 3. It's kind of, it's big The Help vibes. But it's not that, like I'm lying through my teeth if I say I didn't like the movie. Like it's pretty good, like in the same way like Green Book was good. It's like like you're rolling your eyes, but you're like, this is a good movie. Like it's good. He's given a good performance. That's the only one I didn't rewatch. I watched it like when it came out. I bought it, and I didn't rewatch it last year, and I kind of regret. But I know I gave it a 3. It's kind of low. I should have rewatched it. I've got Norbit above that. There's a fuck Norbit.
Yeah, fuck Norbit. Yo,
It makes me laugh. Like him as Rasputia, like on the water slide. I'm sorry. I'll show you how a bitch goes down a slide. Like that's so. Like I don't know. Maybe I'm 8 years old.
Probably. If you're watching, if you're listening, let us know. Comment, hit the voice message, whatever. Let us know what some of your favorite Eddie Murphy movies are. Let us know what you thought about Coming to America. Next episode is the weekend that the Snyder Cut comes out on HBO Max. So in 2 weeks, I want the whole discussion to be Snyder Cut reaction, the DCEU, DC movies in general, man. So, we'll be back, man. Rec League. Yo, Clay Ralph, the quickest to check somebody talking out the side of their mouth. Ever since Jamie told me, man, I've been so overwhelmingly sad. Left your mark on everybody you met, plus you an incredible dad. My guy, high school days, we had some fucking adventures. Ever since I got the news, I just reminisce and remember. You was the young buck of our AMH gang. He be like, call me, yeah, you could see it in my veins. No matter what I'm doing, I'm always thinking about you. Always cutting up and laughing anytime I was around you. And I got your family, dog. Kenar, Messiah, Samaya. If y'all ever come to me in need, I promise I will never deny you. Disagreements with family is normal, man, but it's all love. You know the feeling is mutual. You know my health situation, man, and it hurts that I had to miss the funeral. One day we'll kick it again whenever God rings my gong, man. I could lift every weight in the gym, and I swear it's hard to stay strong, man. And chill until the next episode.